Now, some potentially good news this morning for people who might be struggling to get on the property ladder. The UK's first zero deposit mortgage available exclusively for renters. Ben can tell us more. Morning, Ben.
Yeah, morning to you. If people out there saving for a deposit for a first home, it can often feel like a real uphill struggle, especially with all the rising costs that people are facing right now. So now one lender, the Skipton Building Society, is offering a zero deposit mortgage for those who are currently renting. You'll need a good credit history and a record of at least 12 months of rent payments made on time. And what makes this different from the other 100% mortgages that are currently on offer is that you don't need the financial backing of family or friends acting as a guarantor. It's being offered at a 5-year fixed rate, and it's slightly higher than the current average 5-year rate. The cost of living and the rise in that has made it so much more difficult for people to save for a deposit. To give an illustration, the average rent outside London is currently more than £1,000 a month, and that's a big stretch for many people to afford, let alone try to save on top of that. So who might benefit from this, and what other options are out there? Joining me now is mortgage advisor Sally Mitchell. Sally, firstly, this sounds like it would be a problem solver for a lot of people out there struggling to save for a deposit, but it does have quite important limitations, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, first of all, I'm really excited that a lender has taken the plunge and thought outside the box and come up with a solution that will suit some people. It's not a one-size-fits-all. We will be restricted by, obviously, affordability, how much you earn, and also what your average rent will actually convert to in terms of property price in your area. And that is a completely different situation across the country.
And then when you look at what's being offered, it's a relatively high interest rate, isn't it? I mean, in terms of where interest rates might go, if this is near the top of where they'll be, is it a good idea to be taking this out and being locked into that high interest rate, what, for 5 years?
Yeah, this is my slight issue with it. 5 years is a very long time to commit, especially if this is your first property. And you may well have a difference in income within 5 years. You might be starting a family and you might actually want to move. I'm not sure how it works with porting it across to a new property. I can't find that information out at the moment. But if you want to break that contract, or you have to break that contract within 5 years, there will be penalty charges to pay. And so that could wipe out any equity that you've actually gained by taking the property on in the first place.
We've had some messages and questions around all of this, and I'll just give a couple of the ones that we've got. Firstly, this one from a couple, one in their 60s, the other 57. They're paying about £1,500 a month in rent, going up to £1,600 a month in June. Combined salaries, 55,000, credit rating average. Okay. Will they be able to get a mortgage, is their question?
Yes, they won't be able to get this Skipton product, obviously, because they are not first-time buyers. But they should be able to, yes, as long as they can demonstrate an income up until at least state retirement age, and potentially for them past that. I don't know what their situation is. If they have a job that they can carry on doing feasibly past 67, 66, then there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to get a mortgage up to perhaps the age of 75. The problem will be that the shortened term will mean that their monthly payments are considerably higher than someone taking out a 20-year mortgage, for example. But it's worth investigating.
Christine got in touch on WhatsApp, and she's asking on behalf of her granddaughter and her partner. They're in the opposite situation in that they've got a deposit saved up, but in order to do that, they've been living rent-free in a friend's apartment for 2 years, so they don't have that track record of paying monthly rental payments. What chance do they have of getting a mortgage without that track record?
Yeah, they will be absolutely fine. Again, unfortunately, they won't satisfy the criteria of the Skipton product again, but it's the best thing to do. Save as much as you possibly can, as long as you've got a good credit score on your credit report, and they can check that online and just see what it is. they shouldn't have a problem at all. It's a good idea to have some sort of credit going on. Maybe a credit card that you use just for fuel or for your weekly shop, and you pay it off in full every month, so you don't incur any interest. But that will demonstrate to any lender looking at your file that, yes, you've taken on a certain amount of debt and you are handling it really well.
Okay. Sally, we're almost out of time, but I know this is the key question, the most difficult one anyone watching will want to know. Is now the right time to be taking out a mortgage and buying?
Do you know, it's always the right time, because and something that Skipton actually say in their release is, let's stop thinking about getting property as investment. For most people, it's their home. So you're always going to be governed by other factors than simply an interest rate. Yes, you have to be able to afford it, but life will just throw you the right time to actually settle down and get on the property ladder. It might not be the same time for everybody, but you've got to look at it as a long-term thing. And if it's high rates now, they will come down eventually.
Okay, Sally, thank you very much for your thoughts and advice there. Sally Mitchell, mortgage advisor. And the thing is, Sally and John, with these situations, it's it's that trap people find themselves in. They're paying high monthly rent. If they had a mortgage, that would actually bring down their monthly outgoings. But they can't get a mortgage because the criteria is so strict. They might not have the money saved up for a deposit. So anything like this, people are saying, especially those campaign groups that advocate for getting people onto the property ladder, are saying that actually, any steps to make it more affordable and easy are a positive thing.
Ben, thanks so much, and really good to get that insight there, isn't it, Ben? Thank you. Always good to talk to an expert.
Indeed. It's 6 minutes past 9. We've got